YouTube, what's poppin'? Michael here, welcome back to another episode. Today we are back on that audio video grind. Today we are going to talk about a headphone that has been in long delay on my channel. I am sorry for the long thawed out delay, but it is finally time to take a look and going back to Soundpeats. Want to thank them for returning to my channel. And we're gonna take a look at the POP Clip, their newest on-ear not on-ear kind of design earbuds. This whole new revolutionary clip-on earbuds that a lot of audio companies have been doing. I myself personally have not been a fan of these style of earbuds. I am more in line to in-ear buds, but I gotta tell you, the POP Clips is actually my favorite model that Soundpeats has made, and I'm gonna talk to you guys all about it. Now, of course, these were sent out to me by review. I want to thank them in advance for being kind enough to continue their support and returning to my channel. But as you know, with all of my reviews, regardless of who is working with me, they do not have a say in this video. They do not control my opinion, and they are seeing it the same time that you guys are. So now that we've got those disclaimers out of the way, let's talk about the actual headphones themselves. And I gotta tell you, this is not gonna be a long video because despite it not being the most feature-rich headphones in terms of noise canceling, transparency, these headphones are actually my favorite clip-on earbuds that I have used in all of my reviewing and testing of brands sending me clip-on earbuds. First, the design. The design of these is actually a more refined, tuned design. They have physical buttons, which is great for the touch control. It also has a nice array of touch features when you single tap, play and pause, double tap to skip, triple tap to rewind, press and hold can activate your voice assistant or other things you'd like it to do. It's all controlled within the app, which we will see in just a few moments. On top of that, the earbuds themselves are very light in weight. They have a nice design. Inside of the little symmetrical hole is a 10.8mm driver that does produce all three different range of frequencies. It also features a dynamic EQ setting inside of the app, which we will discuss in contrast with the driver, which produces a very, very amazing sound, which again, we're gonna get to all that. But then lastly, the charging case, which supplies 24 hours of battery life. It rated at 30 hours, but in my testing, the battery life has been rated around 6 hours of playtime, but it does give you 30 hours total combined with the charging case. And when you fast charge them for 15 minutes, you can get 3 hours of playback time. So that is one of the cool things. Again, with a lot of the Soundpeats earbuds, there is no wireless charging, which still kind of makes me wonder, when are they gonna put wireless charging in earbuds? No disrespect right now to Soundpeats, but listen, if Beats can do it, I know you guys can do it. But with that being said, it is very nice and compact and very small compared to the Clip Pros that they released a preview a few months ago. And then finally, to round it all off, it has a nice matte finish, whereas the earbuds do have a gloss. I do like the matte finish. I do wish that it would have stayed a matte design because it makes it easier with grip and also less slippage. Putting them in your ears is very simple and straightforward. They fit in very nicely. I've had no issues with them. They haven't fallen out. They hook on very good. So all in all, when it comes to the presentation and everything, it's your standard earbuds, but I appreciate the effort and the milestone in terms of the physical buttons and also the drivers. Now let's get to the sound quality. Now, the sound quality is where I actually was shocked, because with these type of open earbuds, you don't really get a sound signature that is representative of something like an in-ear bud or over ears. But I have to tell you, after using these for over a month, these are not only the closest sounding to something like an in-ear bud, but it is actually a very good sounding pair of headphones. There is actually very good separation. Let's start with the low end. The low end is very deep and crisp. The bass is punchy, but it's not overpowering. It has just enough bass where it feels clean and crisp. It doesn't leak into the mids or the high end. The mids are nicely blended in as well. The high end is somewhere in there. It tries to kind of not be over pronunciated, but it does try to make itself known inside. but it's more of a mid-end type of hearing, so it's got an emphasis on the mids with the low end being nice and crisp, which it does not bleed into the mids. But the feature that I mentioned before, the dynamic EQ, when you turn that on, it then turns the earbuds from that sound signature to a complete overhaul, because then it sounds almost like you're listening to in-ear buds with every note and frequency being hit at a perfect blend and balance. It is phenomenal how great these things sound. And when you watch movies, when you're listening to music and podcasts, the dynamic EQ does a great job of highlighting the vocals, the treble, as well as if you're listening to stringed instrument music, if you're someone like me that listens to country from time to time, the guitar strings are emphasized. So all in all, it is a phenomenal sounding pair of headphones, and these are probably my favorite sounding of all the clip-on earbuds that I have reviewed on my channel. So absolutely 10 out of 10 on the sound quality. Now, of course, is the app. The app is your standard Soundpeats experience. You have different EQs. You also have the ability to find the earbuds with the Find My feature, which is a great feature to have. You can update your firmware, as well as toggling on the buttons and off. You could also change and tweak the controls, as well as adding the dynamic EQ, gaming mode. And all in all, the app does a very, very nice job of giving everything feeling like a nice complete package. I do have to say that Soundpeats is actively listening and working on the app. A couple of times that I have reviewed it, I have noted a couple of times that there are things they can do to make it better, and I have to say they are listening. This is an example of a company listening to the feedback and really taking it and doing things with it, because the app feels like it offers more than the previous headphones, and I like that a lot, because for the price, which we're about to talk about, you can't get any better than that. So all in all, what do I think of the POP Clips? Well, listen, like I said, these are actually my personal favorite clip-on earbuds that I have ever used or reviewed in the history of reviewing these on my channel. The only negatives that I was able to find, and these are very few negatives, I don't focus a lot on the negatives, but when I do, it has to be something that is life-threatening. Here are the only things that I could find as a negative. The first thing is the battery life. While it is rated for 8 hours, I was only getting 6 hours and then sometimes 5.5 hours. So I kind of hope that in a firmware update, it does something to help optimize the battery performance. I also felt that the microphone quality, while it is respectable, I thought it could be a lot better. I thought it could definitely work. It does claim to have wind reduction, noise cancellation and wind reduction, but I have not noticed that. Maybe it's a firmware thing, but that is another negative. It claims to isolate the wind reduction and also isolate everything around you so that way you can hear what's coming through, but I have not noticed that. And again, maybe it's a firmware update issue, so maybe it's something they can work on. And then the last thing, and really this is just me nitpicking here, I still wish for wireless charging. I have a 3-in-1 wireless charger, which by the way, that review is coming out soon, and I really love wirelessly charging my earbuds. And I think that all companies, regardless of the price and regardless of the range, should really start to incorporate wireless charging. But with all that being said, the positives speak for themselves. The build quality is amazing, the battery life is respectable and can get to a good level. The noise isolation with the clip-on design works very well, despite the wind reduction feature not working in my favor. Maybe again, it could be fixed. But the thing that sells it for me is the sound quality. That is what does it. That is what makes me recommend them. And for $40, you're not really breaking the bank. And they don't even sound like $40 pair of headphones. That's the even better part. Normally, headphones of this caliber should not sound this good. And this reminds me again of another company that used to be like this. I wonder what that company's name is. We shall not speak it, but you know if you watch my channel long enough. But I will say that for $40, can you do better? I mean, it remains to be seen, but as it stands, they're very good. And if you're somebody that doesn't like in-ear buds, definitely check them out. For 40 bucks, I don't think I can say no. I think go for it.